Welcome back to my channel. I would like to obviously discuss trauma and grief today. Um, Yesterday was my sister's ninth anniversary of her passing, and it's just a few things that I'm feeling. One, it's not sadness. So, the thing about trauma in the family is that if you decide to go no contact, the grieving process begins then. So you mourn, the anger and the sadness and all of that. That's all there. Now, when my sister died, I was in the beginning stages of disconnecting. So when she died, I was very sad, because like I said, was in the beginning stages of ending things with my relatives and stuff like that. So it really messed me up for like a year. And up until about year 5, I felt a lot of grief and a lot of sadness. But as I was grieving my relatives, I had to think about the relationship that I had with my sister. Now, at the time of her death, we didn't have a great relationship. She used to gossip about me all the time, and she would say things. We have the same dad, different moms, but we were around each other's mother's side of the family. Like, my mother's side of the family knew her, and I was around, her family quite a bit. And so I was naive about a lot of things, especially when it was subtle. But I think it was me being in denial and me just wanting connection. And so when my sister and I finally reconnected when I was 14, I was just so excited because I'm like, wow, oh my gosh, my big sister, yada, yada, yada. It's just another person I could talk to and, be with, and that could really be here for me. And, it's just cool to have a big sister. But as the years went on, she turned into kind of like my family. Just very disrespectful. Like I said, talked about me a lot to people. Now, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but the things that she would go and tell people, it's how when somebody's trying to smear you, they will present information in a weird way. And so the people that she talked about me most is her mother and her other sister, her older sister, and her friends. And yeah, so anyway, over the years, I noticed that her mom kind of had weird energy with me. She would be nice, but she would say comments and do certain things. And, like I said, I was a little naive and a little slow. So I was not catching up to it, but it's just after my sister died, these nasty comments kept coming more frequently. And I'm like, why do she talk to me like this? What the fuck is going on? Then I was thinking about how most people who I met through my sister, how they interact with me. My brother has my dad has 4 children. So it's my older brother, my older sister. They have the same mom, and then me and my younger brother, we have the same mom. So my older brother, our older brother. Like I remember one day. Okay, so anyway, I used to work a lot. So I was like working in school, yada yada yada. And when I was working and in school, like I was at the library studying. So like on my days off, like I would sleep in. Like I didn't have no days off. Like I was either at work or at school during undergrad and grad school. And so when I would go hang out with my sister, like I knew I'd be off on a Saturday or a Sunday or something like that. And so I would be asleep because I'm fucking tired. So she took that as, oh, I was just lazy and stuff like that. Like a lot of my family, yeah, whatever. So anyway, I spent the night at my brother's house one day. Now I had to go to work at like 1 o'clock or something stupid like that. So I got up, got dressed or whatever. And my brother made this comment like, yeah, I was going to, because I think I was like in my niece's bedroom. And so he was like, yeah, we ain't finna be sleeping all day over here. And I'm like, what the fuck is you talking about? And so then I realized, I'm like, oh, he got this from Rhonda. And so that happened. I was talking to like one of her friends, her male friends, and it wasn't going to go anywhere. But he was like trying to make it go somewhere. And he was like asking her, like, oh, I want to date your sister, yada, 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 or I want to see where this goes instead of us just being this little weekend thing. And she told him no. Like, she was like, oh, I don't think that that's a good idea, yada, yada, yada. But I'm like, I get that. But it's like, low key, you hating. Because I don't know, I wouldn't do that. Like, I'll be like, yeah, get on it. Like, go ahead, but whatever. So it was things like that, like gaslighting, just not being supportive, always making comments, just she said a lot of nasty shit. And there were times when like I stopped talking to her. So I stopped talking to her once during undergrad because she was making comments about my weight to my cousins on my mom's side that she knew. And of course, my family couldn't wait to bring it back to me, like, because they were always so happy when somebody didn't like me because they didn't like me either. And so they were like, oh, your sister was telling your cousins that, you gained a lot of weight or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I stopped talking to her for like a few months. And then the second time I stopped talking to her, we had went to Chicago. And again, she was talking about me to her mom. And her mom was like loud on the phone one day. And she was like, oh, are you bored? Are you having fun? And so I had heard it, obviously, because she had her on the speaker. So she heard it, but like took her off. So I didn't say nothing to her. And then like later on that night, she was like, oh, I had told mom that I thought that I was going to be bored with you on a trip. And I'm like, when I was in the trauma, in my hard time, like I had played small, and so I would just present as like a blank canvas to most people. Like it would just be really awkward. Not saying that I didn't know how to talk, but it's just like I kept things pretty brief. And after years of being like teased and taunted about things that I like, things just about me, like I just stopped sharing shit. Like I just stopped providing insight. Like I just presented as very bland. And so my family took that as, oh, you're just boring, so we're not going to invite you anywhere. Whatever. So whatever. And it turned out to be quite the opposite, because I'm trying to turn up. Like I said, like I think at this point I was going into like my senior year of undergrad. And so I'm like, I'm about to be doing my field placement. I'm about to still be going to school and working, so I'm trying to cut up, before this year. And so I was trying to like get out, have fun, like really explore like the nightlife and stuff like that, whatever. So then while we were on the trip, like she was just being bitchy. And so I had stopped talking to her for like a year at that point. Um, then fast forward, we reconnected. I got pregnant with my son. She was not supportive of, how my family was treating me, which is not unusual because, like I said, she act just like them. And so I had moved to Austin. And so I was talking to her on the phone one day with my partner, and she was drunk. And, they say a drunk man says sober thoughts. And so she decides to tell my partner, thank you so much for being with Quanda. I know that she just is extremely difficult to be with, and I just want to thank you for staying with her, yada, yada, yada. And so I'm like, okay, like I said, I'm not perfect, but you act like this is a motherfucking house of horrors or something. Like I'm just over here screaming, I'm over here hurting people. Like you act like I just be tripping. And I am just like, I don't know. So after that, I was like, the next time I see her, I'm going to fuck off on her. So shortly after that conversation, I had moved to Florida. Now I had stopped talking to her after that. When we reconnected after I stopped talking to her for a year, and when I had my son, I was like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, if I have a problem with Rhonda, like I'm gonna bring it to her, yada yada yada. Like, I don't want, her and my son to not have a connection. But then I'm like, because I remember one day you said you wouldn't love my son the way that you love our first niece, with my brother or whatever. Because she did make a distinction between her siblings from her mom versus me and my brother that she had with her dad. And it was very clear. So I knew that, like, while I loved my sister with everything in me, like a sister, I'm like, I don't care that we don't have the same mom. To her, it was like the same thing. And I don't know if it was just because she was just being a bitch or just trying to hurt me or whatever, but whatever. Then she like replaced me with like one of her students, after she graduated high school. They like will hang out, get drunk together, do all this stuff. She helped this student tell her mom about her being sexually assaulted by her mom's boyfriend. Now, she has never done any of that for me. Like, whenever I tried to talk to my sister about the experiences that I had with my family, it was just always shut down. When my family was disrespecting me during my pregnancy, she was like, what the fuck she say? Well, they're only telling you that for a reason. I don't know why you care about what they say. And I'm like, I care about what they say because I'm pregnant and you shouldn't be telling a pregnant person. It's disgusting for them to be pregnant. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And it was always that, like, every time like I would try to talk to my sister just to talk to her and like get support or some type of insight, it was always gaslighting from her to me. And so I just um I don't know. So after her death and after like I'm processing everything, all these experiences with her just started playing out, and I myself asked myself, I be sounding a little nutty when I say that, but like it literally be conversations with different parts of myself whatever. So I asked myself, like, why are you sad about your sister being dead when she didn't like you and didn't give a fuck about you? And I'm like, you're right. Why am I sad? I knew that her mom had this vision of me. I feel like everybody had a judgment of me because of my mother. Because my mother was on drugs and my mother was this and my mother got pregnant by a grown man and my mother did that, that people judged me. Even though when you look at me in my mother's life and the year, like year by year, you know, I had no risk of being pregnant when I was 16, 15, 17. Like, that wasn't happening to me. But for my mother, yeah, that was happening for her. Like, I was aware, like, yes, I was being risky as a teen, but like, not that fucking risky. I knew I didn't want to get pregnant. I knew I didn't want to get on drugs. I knew not to be hanging with the wrong type of people and being in the wrong type of places. Yes, I used to sneak out the house and do all this other stuff, but like I wasn't sneaking out the house to like go to a party. I was sneaking out the house to get the fuck out the house because my aunt wanted to lock us in there for months, the whole goddamn summer. So I literally would just go and just walk the neighborhood at night, which is very dangerous and shows my underdeveloped prefrontal cortex and all of that jazz. But at the same time, my mother and I lives were two totally different. Like, you wouldn't have even guessed I was her daughter in foster care, in this and in that. Like, I knew because thank God I have spiritual protection and insight that I never knew that I had, but I've always had insight to not make stupid ass fucked up decisions. Like, I always could like think like, should you make this decision? Like, really think, where is this gonna lead you? And most of the time, because not all the time, most of the time I was able to make the right decision. And even most of the time, like, I wasn't even putting myself in situations to have to make really tough decisions like that. But anyway, so with her mom, like, I just feel like she, whatever. It was like every time, I'm a very expressive person, even though, my people that knew me didn't think that like I was thinking this deep about stuff. So when I finally got more comfortable with really sharing my thoughts, which I used to do a lot on social media, which I still do, not as often, but I do. People became very offended because they thought that somehow they got away with making a smart comment or being fake with me or something like that. And so, no, you actually didn't get away with it. I was just waiting and waiting until one day I decided, I'm going to make a Facebook status about this because this is just something, like, it literally just be on my heart. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make a status about this. And then like I would get deleted or people would comment or, people would make passive aggressive statements or statuses after that or whatever. Whatever. Anyway, so her mom did not like me at all. Like, and it became clear at my sister's funeral. So at my sister's funeral, I was already losing weight, but like I was probably the smallest that I had ever been. I was like, no, I was probably like 115. So I was pretty small from 200 pounds. Just, my sister died maybe a year and some change after I moved away. So after being gone, not even a year and a half, I had lost, well, like almost 70 or 70 plus pounds. And so I guess people, whatever, had a problem with it, unbeknownst to me, because, these were the same people telling me I was fat and I needed to lose weight. But then, whatever, damn if you do, damned if you don't. And so, I had on a pink dress. It was actually coral for her funeral. And, we were meeting at her house, her mom's house, and she was like, oh, we were all laughing at you because you have on pink and Rhonda doesn't like pink. Like, she just randomly came up to me and said that. And I'm like, my sister is dead at this time, and I'm completely shocked and like I'm sad, and your daughter is dead. Like, you watched your daughter die, and now we're having your youngest child's funeral, and you got time to come up to me and talk about my fucking dress. Like, bitch, what? So I had to tell myself, I'm like, you know what? Nope. Like, because for a moment there, I had to pause. And I'm like, okay, like, this is a time I need to practice some emotional maturity. And I need to decide where I'm going to put my energy at. Am I going to put my energy in being mad at her mom? Or am I going to put my energy into grieving my sister? So I decided to disregard the comment at the time, but it always stayed in the back of my mind. And then, like I said, over the time that my sister has been deceased, she has made numerous comments about me and, just really let it be known that she ain't fucking like me, but acting fake like she did. So fast forward now, I don't talk to my sister's mom. She actually blocked me because, again, I was being silly one day and I don't know, I like when little girls have a sassy ass mouth and a sassy little attitude, especially little black girls, especially when they're dark, because black girls have been told to sit there and shut the fuck up and, not have any energy to them. And I had shared this video of this little girl. What did she say? I don't know. She said she was like pissed off or something like that. Now, whatever. It was a little racy, whatever. I don't care. But my sister's mom and her uncle decided to both comment the same comment back to back on the video. Like, this is not funny. This is not funny. And so I have had it with people with comments and criticisms about the things that I do and stuff like that. Like, I have just given myself permission to just go the fuck off or just be nasty and let people know. And so I responded back. So I laughed at their comments, but it wasn't like a ha ha, this is funny. It was like a ha ha, bitch, like, this ain't funny. So I laughed, reacted to them, and then I commented back like, whatever. Then after commenting back, I made another status because her uncle, fucking asshole, like, I see you liking fat booty pics. Now they're not naked, but the shit is tight or short. You be liking all these lewd and lascivious shit. You just act like a man, which is great. You should interact with content like that with big booty women. You should, that it looks nice. But don't get your fucking ass on my shit acting like I can't have a little fucking dark little humor, and it ain't even all that serious. Like a little girl just said, "You pissed me off," and rolled her eyes. And yes, it was fucking funny and it was fucking cute. And I'm glad that her mama let her be like that at times. So what? And so she commented first and he commented right after. And so I had made that status. And then after I made that status, like her mom had blocked me and we haven't spoken since. Her mom's husband died. He was like my sister's dad. And like I reached out to like my sister, like her sister or whatever, but like anybody else, I just said, fuck them. I don't even talk to my brother anymore because my brother's view of me, like I said, because people make a lot of nasty ass comments to me. And, you know, like I just really have to like accept that these people don't fuck with me like that. And it's not like I've asked these people for money or like asked them to do things for me. I just be needing support and somebody to talk to. And when I think that I can go to my older siblings for that support, which I should be able to, and I get gaslit, I get disrespected or something like that, or you make some stupid ass comment to me, it's just like, fuck you. You know, my brother was one of the ones talking about my weight. Then for him to turn around and insinuate that I was struggling and poor, and that the reason why I was losing weight was because I couldn't afford to eat. And that was my family's thing too. They thought like, oh, you left, but like you're still poor. Like, fuck you. So now it's 9 years after my sister has deceased, and the thing is, like, I considered her family like my family. And it's just like this whole time, my sister was like dragging my name in the dirt. And it was evident in these people's actions towards me. I remember one time, like, one of her friends, she's a pastor's wife, and she got mad at me because I said something to the effect of like not going to church or something like that. Like this was around the time when I was like done with Christianity and stuff like that. And I was just kind of talking about how the misuse of the Bible and church and religion is a detriment to the Black community. And she got offended and like stopped fucking communicating with me. And I now realize that it's because my sister was talking about me to her. And she got so upset about that. And I'm like, I know it's because my sister was talking shit. Like, I know that I don't know, because it wasn't even that deep. But I don't know, maybe because she's a pastor's wife, that she felt so moved by that or so offended. But it's like, if you can't handle like someone else having a different perspective than you, like you're ignorant. And like, I don't care. I'm not saying being a pastor's wife is right or wrong, but I'm just saying like the way you live your life isn't the end all be all. And what works for you don't work for everybody else. And at times we all can be oppressive, and I'm just shining a light on oppression because that's just, I feel like, is my calling, is to call out the ways that other people and systems and ideologies and stuff like that oppress people. And so what? But I said all that to say trauma has definitely made grief different for me. Like, At times, like, I wished I was still sad about my sister's death, but like, I'm not. Like, it's actually a little alarming to me, like, like kind of accepting that, like, I don't give a fuck that she did. I didn't want my sister to die, you know what I'm saying? Now, I wanted my father to die. I wanted a lot of people in my family to die, but I didn't want my sister to die. I just realized, I can be that close with her. Um, and so I don't know. Like when I see like her sister posting things or like some of her family members like still posting stuff, like that type of stuff don't hit me anymore. Now, like I said, for like the first 4 to 5 years, like it was just so hard. Like every time like I saw a picture of her and stuff like that, like I was crying and upset and yada yada yada. But it's like, And then obviously I've had other family members die since I've been away, and like I don't give a fuck, and it's not like I never did, but it's just like I just think about the disregard that was shown towards me in my life, and I cannot fucking like, you got me fucked up like thinking that I'm gonna cry because you did. Like when my great aunt died, the one who took care of my brother and I, like my relatives were all calling me, like sending me messages and all this other stuff, like her funeral this day. And it's like, first of all, I gotta work. Okay. First of all, I gotta work. Second of all, I'm not coming to no motherfucking Flint. I'm not. I'm not coming up there. I'm not doing it. I'm not putting in PTO. I'm not sending HR no shit about bereavement leave. I'm not notifying my supervisor about nothing. I'm not making no plans. I'm not disrupting my life to bury this bitch. Like they say you shouldn't talk bad about the dead, but it's like, fuck you. Like you tried to send me to the fucking poorhouse. And if I didn't have the will and determination to pull myself up by the fucking bootstrap and lock the fuck in, bitch, I would be desolate. I would be probably dead or like have some type of autoimmune disease fucking around with my family. And, people be like, it ain't that deep, it ain't that deep, but it is. It is. Because, I say all the time, like, my family hated me. Like, there is no way that my family could prove or disagree with me and say, no, we didn't, no, we didn't. Yes, you did. Okay? You watched me struggle. You did not give a fuck about my mental health. You consistently chose people that were not related to us over me. You were glad when things didn't work out for me. Nobody ever stood up for me. People watched me struggle my whole life and then sat there and judged, taunted, and all this other shit. Like, y'all had it in y'all head that I would be like my mother, and since you were committed to that belief, your actions made it to where you wanted me to end up like her. You wanted me to feel so stressed out to where I went and started smoking crack or drinking or just stayed in Flint and argued and stressed out because of y'all. They thought that I was going to stay around and take care of them, care for them, all the while getting disrespected, and fuck that. So I left. And no, I'm not coming back for your fucking funerals. I don't give a fuck. I've already grieved you. I've already cried. I've already tried to make you see things from my perspective. I have apologized for the way that I have reacted, only to be met with, I don't give a fuck. So I don't give a fuck either. Like, I just gotta, this is what it is. And I don't know, like, so yeah, yeah, so no, I'm not sad. Um, it's weird because like everybody is just still like in that grief. Like it's still very raw for them. But for me, it's just like, you know, my cousin, she got so pissed off with me. Um, the one, she knows my sister, obviously. And this is when my uncle had died. And she was like messaging me like, oh, you're so mean and people in the family have died and you haven't come around. And it's like, what do you guys want me to say? Like, my family only wanted me to come around just so they could disrespect me. Like, there would never be a time that I would be around my relatives without one of them making some type of fucked up comment. And the thing is that they don't talk to everybody like that. They just feel like they could talk to me like that because I'm gonna react, and then they're gonna be like, "You're overreacting. You don't have to. You become unglued so fast. You do this. You do that." And it's like, no, you got me fucked up, and now you're mad because my anger is holding you accountable. You thought that I was just gonna be the same weak ass kid, and I wasn't even weak as a kid. I had, like I said, once my mother left us on the doorstep, that's when I woke all the fuck way up. Like, I changed in that instant, and they could call it post-traumatic growth. They could call it whatever the fuck they want to. I just know that I became in tune and aligned with the spirit, with God, the creator, the universe, my ancestors. And I knew that I needed to survive, and that I needed me to survive, and I, when it was time, had to make the hard decision to just say fuck my relatives. At 15, dealing with my aunt, her gaslighting, her disrespect, all the abuse, her keeping me in the house all the time, her calling me a whore even though I was a virgin and was at the time planning to stay a virgin until marriage. Like, I did not want no motherfucking kids as no teenager. Like, I was like, Like, I was seeing all them big ass bellies in high school, and obviously looking at my relatives and how they are, they struggle being mothers, without, a father and kids themselves. Like, I didn't want to do that. I did not want that for me. So I knew that I had to make good decisions, and yeah, that's what I caught myself doing. But I guess so yeah, grief is non-existent for my relatives, and that's one of the benefits. Like, I get frustrated, because I'm like, I could be fully licensed right now for my job, and I could be so far ahead, but it's like, I've had some good experiences. Like, I've lived in different places, I've got to travel, you know have kids, and you know I'm fulfilled. Obviously, I'm still wanting more, but like, I am fulfilled, and I'm thankful that I still have my mind, even with all the trauma and stuff like that. Yes, I may be a crash out, but it's not to the point where like I'm delusional or psychotic. Even though it may appear that I am psychotic, no, I'm choosing this. I'm choosing to cuss your ass out. I'm choosing the crash out. I've decided, it's worth it. I'm not gonna lose much if I cuss your ass the fuck out. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So, yeah, I'm learning that it's okay to not be sad about people dying that didn't give a fuck about you. Yeah. It's okay. Like, it's okay that I'm not sad that my sister's dead. Like, I just feel like it would be a betrayal to my ancestors. I be having these moments of clarity. Like, I literally be like, I'm so confused. I don't know why this happened or such and such is acting like this. And it's just like, okay, dummy. That's what my spirit guys be like, okay, let's roll the fucking tape. And then it's just like, oh shit, it was there all along. I was being fucking silly. And so, yeah. So yeah, that's that. Um, if anything, now it's like kind of awkward because I don't even react to none of the stuff anymore. Like I don't know. And then like my brother's wife, like I said, like I'm not trying to sound like that, but and I know people say stuff, and I said a lot of fucked up shit. Like I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna lie, like whatever. Um, but like overall, I held my family in high regard. Like, people talk shit, and that's just that, people nosy, yada, yada, yada. But that's that. And then it's also like, yeah, I'm talking shit, or I think, whatever, like such and such get on my motherfucking nerves, but it's like, if you needed a ride, or if you needed me to pull up somewhere, or if you needed some money, or if I could help you in some type of way, like I'm doing it. And that's where the line is drawn at. Like it was beyond them talking shit. Like it was just intentional things that you've done to not support me when I needed it. Even though I have supported you and all this other shit, and so yeah, so yeah.